With the 20th anniversary event set to drop this coming November, there's a ton of new things coming, but in this video we'll be covering the exclusive currency that's set to drop with the event. We'll talk about how to get them and what to do with them. First off, we'll start with the one-time quests that give us these bronze celebration tokens. As soon as we arrive at the event, we'll turn in the quest to Yolana called Another Timely Invitation. Right afterwards, we'll be given a one-time follow-up quest called Meet and Greet. And this will be our first and easiest source of getting a hold of these bronze celebration tokens, since it'll give us 3 for just talking to a few NPCs. Following up with this quest is another one called Shopping Squee, which requires us to talk to some vendors, and upon completion we'll get 5 tokens. Once these 2 quests are done, redoing them on a different character from our warband will no longer reward tokens, instead they'll just give us gold. From here we'll have one more one-time quest we can pick up. This is going to be called Truth of the Dark Irons, which we pick up from Moira Thorison. Upon completion, we'll be rewarded with 5 tokens, and in order to do this, we'll have to defeat Emperor Dagran Thorison in the Blackrock Depths raid during the event. From here on out, our main sources of bronze celebration tokens will come from weekly quests. In terms of weekly quests, we will have access to those that reward us with bronze celebration tokens, but keep in mind that at the time of making this, take into account that it is beta, and the amount of tokens you get once a week will also scale with your level. For example, at level 70, they'll give us 3 tokens instead of 5 if we complete it at max level, as opposed to completing it at max level. So the first weekly quest is going to be from Yolana once again, and from her we'll pick up the quest Celebrate Good Fun, which requires us to participate in the activities in this area. Currently on beta, we'll want to participate in all of the 3 events this anniversary has to offer. Each one will fill up the progress bar by 30 to 40%. And as of beta testing on the PTR, there's only 3 events and they rotate every 15 minutes in a set pattern going from left to right. So for example, we'll have Mount Mania, then we'll go to Story Time, and on the right side it'll be Fashion Frenzy. Alternatively, we'll know which event is currently taking place by one of the 3 things. The first is whichever area has this subtle ray of light on top of the event. The other one is the text on our screen dictating which event is currently taking place or is about to take place. And the last tell is the announcer himself, who announces which event is going to take place or is about to start, and that guy is going to be Radovan, the event announcer. The first event is going to be Fashion Frenzy, which is located behind the atrium. Each time the event starts, we'll be given an overall theme for the show. So this is going to be a fashion show. So for example, Althea, the event organizer, could be like calling out saying, okay, this theme is going to be Alliance versus Horde, or it could be the Fell and the Furious, for example. And then the players will be given 2 minutes to prepare their outfits for the show. Nearby, there are these transmogrifiers, which will help us change into our look for the event. Afterwards, we'll be given 2 minutes again to vote on who has the better look or overall transmog that fits the theme. There's currently only a single table with 3 medals or badges on it, signifying that at the time of beta, we can have up to 3 voters in total, and each voter has up to 5 charges. These charges count towards as votes, and the top 4 participants with the most votes for the Fashion Frenzy will be brought up to the stage and featured on their pedestal until the next event. The next event is going to be Story Time, conducted by Lore Walker Cho. To participate, we just have to enter the area when the event begins, and take note that you don't have to be sitting on the benches or the bleachers to be counted as participating. Every now and then during the show, a prompt will show up either telling us to cheer, to cry, or applaud, basically an emote, during certain parts of the event. And that's about it. The last event is going to be Mount Mania, and we'll want to head over to Abigail. Once it begins, we'll enter the arena, sort of like this Argent tournament vibe, and we'll have to copy as many mounts as we can from the host, Abigail. Every time she mounts up, we'll be given a prompt next to her nameplate to give us details on what mount she's using. The event will end once she's mounted up 15 times, and the player that manages to replicate the most amount of mounts like hers will win. The mounts she covers are from current and past expansions, and they also include the exclusive mounts from PvPs, dungeons, and raids. Even the gold mounts are included, like the Lightforge Warframe, which costs 625,000 gold. So we'll be able to finish the weekly quest after doing all 3 activities, since each activity will give us around 30 to 40% of progress on that weekly quest from Yolana. So once we turn it in, we'll be able to get some bronze celebration tokens, as well as this anniversary buff that gives us 10% increase experience and reputation gains. Next up, we have 2 weekly quests we can pick up from Izake Kadyrov, which revolve around defeating world bosses and participating in PvPs or battleground. Upon completion, we'll get a total of 6 bronze celebration tokens, 3 from earning 500 honor points in Korak's Revenge, and 3 from defeating the current listed world bosses. It is worth mentioning that there are portals across the area from where Izake is, It'll be between the battle pet trainers and the photo booth area. Now, it is currently unconfirmed if the world bosses do drop bronze celebration tokens. They don't seem to be listed as sources, but this might change in the future, so we'll just have to wait for Blizzard to make the change, or if it's intended to be this way. From Chromie, we can pick up Chromie's Codex, which requires us to queue up for their 20-man activity, where we'll have to fight against certain enemies and bosses from the past, or essentially things that shouldn't be there in our current timeline. Upon completion, we'll get 5 bronze celebration tokens. Lastly, we'll have the Disturbance Detected Blackrock Depths weekly quest, which upon completion, it will give us some stuff along with 5 bronze celebration tokens. Now, do keep in mind that from the Blackrock Depths raid, the raid bosses are presumed to have a chance of dropping bronze celebration tokens. Do take it with a grain of salt that it is listed as an unconfirmed drop source at the time of making this video, and on the screen are the lists of boss that potentially drop the tokens, and apparently even Queen Ansuric as well. Now that we've collected the tokens and we've gone about the sources, next up we'll go about what we can spend those things on essentially. We'll be going over the exclusive things we'll want to be saving up for, or the first things we'll want to buy with these tokens. So over at the atrium in the center, we'll want to head to the vendor Treya located near the other vendors at the atrium, and we'll be able to buy our ensembles for our classes, which are from World of Warcraft Classic Season 2, but they've now been updated to a more HD look. And yes, they've included the classes that were added like the Monk, Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and the Evoker. Take note that you don't have to be that class specifically to be able to buy the ensemble classes, the other ones I mean, so we can save up our tokens to buy them all if you're aiming to do that. So each of the ensemble class are purchasable for 60 bronze celebration tokens. I do imagine it'll look quite sick to have 4 of your highlighted warband characters to be decked out in Season 2 Classic Ensemble gear, especially the Monk and Paladin. Theirs look really good. It's also worth mentioning that there's an achievement to buying our first ensemble class tier set called Upgraded Apparel, and this requires us to purchase a tier 2 armor set during the anniversary, and it makes it so that our second purchase we make will have a discount. It's unconfirmed on how much the discount will go for, but maybe Blizzard will be generous and give us 50%. The next vendor is right next to her, and this is going to be Storekeeper Reginald, and they'll be able to sell 7 things. 2 of those are mounts which cost about 20 celebration tokens each, and they are going to be the Obsidian World Breaker and the Core Hound Chain. The other 5 that they're selling are going to be battle pets from past dungeons or raid drops, which cost about 10 celebration tokens each. All in all, it'll cost us about 90 bronze celebration tokens to get them all, but if you're only after the 2 mounts, then it'll just cost us 40. The next vendor is across, and it's going to be Historian Mahdi, and this vendor mainly sells cosmetics. From her, we'll mainly get things like these cold flame weaponry or toys. As for the noteworthy items that they do sell, there are these 2 returning mounts. They're exclusively purchased with Time Warp badges, and they are the Azure World Chiller and the Illidari Doomhawk. Aside from that, with the bronze celebration tokens, there's going to be the 20th anniversary balloon chest, which is a toy that allows us to pop up a balloon to celebrate the 20th anniversary. There's going to be a little Doomseed's Help, which is a little demon pet if you're interested in that. Now, before we end the video, I wanted to touch on this achievement called Token Collector. This requires us to collect 100 bronze celebration tokens during the anniversary, and it'll be considered a feat of strength achievement. Once completed, we'll be able to get more bronze celebration tokens from doing the repeatable 20th anniversary activities. Now, since I haven't personally collected 100 tokens yet, it's safe to assume that the activities are going to be the ones with weeklies attached to them. So those might be the Celebrate Good Fun weekly quest from Yelana, or the World Boss Hunting and the PvP weeklies. It could be the one from Chromie, or it might even be the one from Boba Dormu, where we have to do time walking dungeons. And who knows, it's not too much of a stretch to consider the Castlegar weekly activities as well, since some of them do give out bronze celebration tokens. But that's about it. If you found this video useful, leave a like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what classic ensemble you get first, or which one you'll get in general, since I'm personally thinking of my Monk, Rogue, Paladin, and my Death Knight. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.